State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam, and CLAT exam. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy for further exam coaching. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security, and analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And my session, that is daily news analysis, will definitely help you to crack prelims and mains examinations, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. So these, the keywords and the key phrases are the one which are very important, and I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, because by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, we will definitely identify, and you will be in a position to identify the factual, analytical, and also the conceptual questions which are very important for the preliminary examination. So definitely the factual, analytical, and conceptual understanding will be brought to you by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases throughout my session, and also by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases not only for the prelims point of view but also for the mains point of view. It will be useful because it will be very useful in regards to the answer writing. So when you are talking about the mains examination, answer writing is very crucial, and what is very important while you are writing your answers in the mains examination is that your answers should be precise and concise to what the questions are being asked by the UPSC. So to make sure that your answers are precise and concise, you should try to imbibe and inculcate the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, so that you can score higher marks in the mains examination. So thereby my session will definitely help you to crack both prelims and mains examinations for both 2020, year 2020, and also for the year 2021. And this session is in regards to the daily news analysis, that is today's, that is 12th of August 2020. And I again reiterate my tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. So wherein, while you are also into the habit of emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, or identifying the keywords and the key phrases in the newspaper or in your any other subject, what you are actually in the mode of preparation, you please try to identify the keywords and the key phrases, wherein, as I said, it will be very useful for the prelims and mains examinations, and you will certainly be very comfortable even in the interview, that is in the personality test. So therefore my tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, will certainly help for both prelims, mains, and interview. And this is the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is: one small positive thought in the morning will change your day. So what is important is a thought which is positive, a thought which is positive, and that thought has to be positive. Thought has to be in the morning, the beginning of the day. Why? Because that will change your day. So daily, if you have a positive thought, daily if you are having a positive thought early in the morning, and that will change your day. So when we are talking about change, yes, this is the change which will actually bring you very close to success, very close to success, or you are successful. Definitely you will be successful. Once you are close, you will attain or you will acquire success. So what is very important is thought, a thought which is positive, and that too in the morning, and that will change your day. When we are talking about here, it is will, WILL. So this is also your willpower. So what is your willpower? That is having a small or a positive thought early in the morning, that will change your day. And before I get into the topic of daily news analysis, I would say a very good morning to all who are in the live and also in the live chat. So Rahul, Praveen, Sports Adda, D. Suvarna, Malvika Sajivan, Siddha, Krishna, Siddhari Krishna, Madhu, Ashwini Kumar, Rajshekhar, very good morning to you and welcome to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis. Srikanth Balu, very good morning to you. Stravani Mukunda is also joined, very good morning to you all. And welcome to AKS IAS Academy. A warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy and to the daily news analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala. And Venkatesh has also joined. Very good morning to you, Venkatesh. Welcome to AKS IAS Academy. And we'll get directly into the topic, that is the daily news analysis. And the news is that youth faced reproductive mental health challenges amid lockdown. So we will definitely look at the challenges. So definitely we will look at the challenges what are being faced. So what are the challenges? So definitely we have to focus on the challenges during the national lockdown. During the national lockdown, we know why, because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have seen a lot of challenges. And now, in regards to this news, we will focus in regards to what are the challenges. So definitely, the challenges, majority of the challenges are being faced by the young women compared to the boys. Compared to the boys, young women have faced lot of problems, lot of challenges during the national lockdown. During the national lockdown, and when we are talking about these young women who have faced a lot of challenges, is especially taken up by a survey that is called as Population Foundation of India. So Population Foundation of India has gone ahead with a survey, and this survey very clearly states about the challenges met by the young women in Bihar, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. So this survey is being conducted in Bihar, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. And as per this survey, there are challenges which are being faced by the young women. So the survey is taken up by the Population Foundation of India. This is to be noted. Population Foundation of India has taken up the survey in Bihar, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. So when we are focusing in regards to the challenges of young women who have faced, is in regards to the sanitary pads. So this is again in regards to the health. So the women or the young women have faced the access, and they were not able to have sufficient access. So they were unable to have the access to the sanitary pads during the national lockdown. So that is very important in regards to the health point of view, or the women health. So the sanitary pads were not have or were not having a proper or sufficient access to the young women. And the other one is in regards to the economic insecurity. So the women have faced the access to the sanitary pads, and also in regards to the economic insecurity. And why economic insecurity? Because as it is national lockdown, many of the definitely they will be working in the private organizations, and then many of the private organizations have been shut down, and they were not having that economic securities, thereby they were economic insecurity. And definitely because of the lockdown, the family members were at home, and for that there was an emergence, or else the family clashes have increased. And because of the family clashes, the domestic violence has also increased. And not only that, the women have also faced depression, or they have experienced depression. So these are the one which have been the challenges to the young women during the national lockdown. The survey conducted by the Population Foundation of India: sanitary pads access, economic insecurity, family clashes, domestic violence and depression. So if you look at the survey which has been taken up in regards to the economic insecurity, family clashes, domestic wars, definitely women were one in five men. The women were between the age of 15 to 24. They were facing the depression. So depression was between 15 to 24. That is young women were actually facing the depression. And what is this is the challenges to mental and reproductive health faced by adolescent and young adults due to COVID-19. So you can take this phrase or this statement itself for the mains examination. What are the challenges of method or the challenges faced by the young women in regards to the mental and reproductive health faced by adolescents and young adults, that is young women, during COVID-19? That is, there was a lot of challenges and how we can face the challenges. That is critically evaluate. Critically evaluate. So definitely it is a question for me. So what are the challenges and how the challenges can be overcome? That is in regards to mental and reproductive health faced by the adolescents. When we are talking about adolescents and young adults, definitely here in regards to reproductive health, it is in regards to the young women. So what is important is the challenges, that is in regards to the mental health and also in regards to the reproductive health. And we were talking about the depression young women have faced, that is between 15 to 24 years. So the depression, if you look at the young people, 22% of the young people have experienced depression. Why they have experienced the depression? So why depression? This is very important because it is impact on the human behavior. Impact on the human behavior because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation or during the national lockdown. During the national lockdown. And they have definitely experienced the depression or they are under the depression because of lack of job or job opportunities, because of lack of job opportunities. And the other one, if we look at what are the other one, is definitely delay in completing the studies. So studies have been the other reason. And then family pressure was one of the other reason why the young women or young people have experienced the depression. And the fourth one or the other one is lack of privacy. Lack of privacy because everyone staying at home and then there is no privacy. Isolation away from friends. So they were isolated from their friends. So definitely see, now we can identify how we are actually engrossed with the society. But because when we are forced to stay at home because of the national lockdown, and because of that, depression was experienced by 22% of young people, and that is because of the lack of job opportunities, and then they could not or delay in the completing of the studies, family pressure, lack of privacy, and they were isolated from or isolated away from their friends. So this is the reasons. Reasons. Why is the reasons? The reasons why depression have been actually been part of the mental health of the young people because of the national lockdown. Why I'm saying is all these can be the short notes. Please do understand. All these what I'm writing here is definitely the short notes for your mains examination. It could be reasons I would be stating, or I would be stating the challenges, or I would be stating the measures. So all these are very, very important. Reasons, challenges, and measures are very important, and please do try to have that in your or make a note even in your answers. And women were double burdened. Women were definitely double burdened. Why? Because of the increased workload. We have seen the family pressure, or because they were staying at home, it was an increased workload, and then there were a lot of tasks, domestic tasks, compared to the boys. So girls were feeling that double burden. Double burden is definitely because the women have faced 51 percentage, and when you compare the boys they are just 23 percentage. So definitely there is a double burden on the women because of the national lockdown. And if you look at the other sources, I mean how the sources of information, this is just the survey has done it. it's not a challenges, but the survey which has also been taken up, that how the people have got the information in regards to the COVID-19 is, they say television they have got it by 61 percentage, briefing, that is press briefing 42 percentage, and through WhatsApp 30 percentage, and from Arogya Setu. This is what you say a little bit worrisome, because Arogya Setu mobile app is the government app, officially launched app. But if you look at by the Arogya Setu app, the people top source of information. So if you look at the source of information of COVID-19, the Arogya Setu app is only I mean, it is providing, or it has been source of information only for the 6 percentage, and by the schools it is 11 percentage. So this is a very good information how the source of information of the COVID-19 to various people, across people, by mostly by television. Television it is 61 percentage, and press briefing, that is through the press 42%, WhatsApp 30%. But what is really worrisome is Arogya Setu mobile app is only, as a source of information of the COVID-19, is only 6 percentage. So this is how we need to focus, and here the focus is definitely in regards to the challenges, that is especially the women in regards to the reproductive health, or else in regards to sanitary pads, economic insecurity, family clashes, domestic course and domestic burden, double burden, and then in regards to the depression because of the lack of job opportunity, delay in completing the studies, family pressure, lack of privacy, isolation away from the friends. So these are all the reasons of the depression. So you can, this is very important for prelims as well as a short notes for your mains examinations. For what? The challenges method by the young women and the youth, that is in regards to mental health and the reproductive in regards to women's. And then before I get into the next topic, Kabita Mahoto has joined. Very good morning to you, and warm welcome to you to AKSIS Academy. Vijaya, David Paul, Asmad Mohammed, Krishna Bogam. Very good morning to you all, and welcome to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis. And the other news is that PM flags need for more testing tracing in affected states. So what is the keyword is, definitely we need to focus on what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized, that is on the tracing, and also the fatalities. Why he has mentioned is, definitely he has had a video conferencing with the chief ministers in regards to taking the stock of the COVID-19 or the infections of the COVID-19 pandemic situation in India, and he has made it very clear that the fatality rate. So we were talking about this keyword a number of times. So now the fatality rate in India has come down below 1 percentage. What is fatality rate? That is death rate has fallen below 1 percentage. That is what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he had a video conferencing with the chief ministers in regards to taking a stock of the COVID-19, and then how best we can try to reduce it, the infections and then the mortality or morbidity. And then he has stressed, Prime Minister has stressed on 10 states, because he states that these 10 states are the one which have actually accounted for 81 percentage of the cases and 82 percentage of the death. I mean death cases 82 percentage, and infection is 81 percentage. So the infected cases are 81 percentage are from the 10 states, and the death cases 82 percentage are from the 10 states, and that is what the concern being raised by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he has focused on that there is a need for testing, contact tracing, and then trying to reduce the fatalities. And then once this testing tracing is being done, then we need to, he has made it very clear that there has to be an isolation of the people who have been tested positive. So definitely testing, tracing and isolation. Testing, tracing and isolation are the one which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has focused or emphasized to the 10 states. And then the 10 states are West Bengal, Gujarat, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Punjab. So if you look at here, Delhi is not there. Delhi is not mentioned because definitely there is a positive. That means there is a trend, a positive trend in regards to reduce of infection and reduce of death cases in Delhi, because we have seen Delhi was the most happening in regards to the infection and death cases. But the central government, home ministry, and the government, state government, all together and all along with the health officials, state administrations, district collectors, all have come together and then work very in tandem, and they have made sure that Delhi is now not among the 10 states which constitute 81% of the cases and 82% of fatalities across the nation. Across the nation. So what is important is Delhi is out, but if you look at the other side of it, in South India, you have Telangana, you have Andhra Pradesh, you have Karnataka, you have Tamil Nadu, except Kerala. You have all other states which are definitely the most, that means almost 40 percentage 40 percentage of the entire India is from the four states: Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. That is from South India. Because why I am emphasizing on this South India is because I made a statement in my daily news analysis almost 2 weeks back, a fortnight, that the next increase of cases and the death cases would be in South India. I have mentioned that almost a fortnight, that is 15 to 20 days back, and that is what it is happening now. Now the South Indian states are experiencing, or they are constituting the largest gem, or else 40 percentage of what the entire infection and death cases to the entire figures or the statistics of the nation. And then if you look at Gujarat, Western India, you have Gujarat, you have Maharashtra. Eastern India, you have West Bengal, and then you have kind of Bihar, and then central, you can take it as Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh. And then when you talk about Western India, you have Gujarat, and also central you can take Maharashtra, and then Western India is Punjab. So definitely there is division. And if you look at northeast or eastern part, only West Bengal is the one which is constituting or adding larger part of it amongst the northeastern states or eastern states to the entire nation. So this is very important in regards to how we analyze how the trend in regards to the virus is spreading. This is in regards to the virus, the spread, the trend of virus spreading across the India. Because earlier it was the North India or Delhi, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh was there. Fine. Later on it has shifted to South Indian states. Tamil Nadu, AP, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu are the 4 states among the 10 states wherein Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized that it is the need of the hour to restrict the infections and the death cases. And Nandita Tepa is also joined. Very good morning to you, Nandita Tepa. And Mr. Modi, that is the Prime Minister of India, has also emphasized that if these 10 states can defeat the coronavirus, if the 10 states can defeat the coronavirus, then India will win the war against the disease. So look at the way why there is so much of importance that we need to focus on the 10 states, because if the 10 states can defeat coronavirus, then India will win over the war against the disease. This is what Mr. Modi, that is the Prime Minister of India, has made a statement. That means it is very clear and it is obvious that the 10 states have to go ahead with the testing, tracing and isolation. Testing, tracing and isolation has to be done in in tandem, in perfection, in a great number, so that we can defeat coronavirus and India can win over the war against the disease. And it has emerged that there is an urgent need, and what is very important is there is an urgent need for ramping of increasing of testing increasing of testing is the need of the for which states? That is Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Gujarat, and West Bengal. So among the 10 states, 5 states, that is 1 Bihar, 2 Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, 4 Gujarat, 5th West Bengal are the states among the 10 states which are constituting 82 and 81% of the infection and death cases to the entire nation. The 5 states are definitely this is the need of the hour. What is the need of the hour is that 5 states, that is Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana, Gujarat, and West Bengal, have to definitely go ahead with increasing of testing, and then they have to go ahead with the contact tracing, and then isolation has to be done. So definitely containment, contact tracing, and surveillance is the most effective weapons. So here what we are talking about? Here we are talking about the measures. So these are the measures which you can also put in. One of the measure is the containment, contact tracing, and surveillance are the effective or most effective weapons or the most effective weapons against COVID-19. So we'll look at the other news which says that daughters have equal right to inherit property. So here it is the Supreme Court word. Supreme Court has come up with a verdict. So this is again very important for quality point of view for prelims. Because Supreme Court has come up with a judgment in regards to the inherit property, that is kind of ancestral or father's property. So Supreme Court has given a statement in regards to the inherit property that the daughters have equal right. The daughters have equal right to the inherit property, and that is on August 11th, 2020, Supreme Court has come up with this, that this is again in regards to the daughters when we are talking about that the one who are in the joint Hindu family property. That is as per the joint Hindu family property. That is as per the joint Hindu family property. The court has given a decision, and the court has given a decision by amending. Please to understand, by amending. The Supreme Court has come up with a decision that the daughters of the joint Hindu family property can have the rights or the equal rights on the inherit property, and it says daughters have the equal birthright, have an equal birthright with sons to inherit joint Hindu family property. So daughters have the equal birthright. So what is inherit property or having equal rights to inherit property is the equal birthright. This is very important. It is a daughter's equal birthright along with the sons to inherit the joint family property or inherit property, and it has amended the Hindu Succession Act 2015. Fine, and this we have got it, and now earlier, first time it is the Hindu Succession Act 1956. So Hindu Succession Act 1956 has been amended in the year 2015, and then second time, and then now it has been amended, and you have the Hindu Succession Act 2020. Act they have amended of 2015, giving the equal rights to the women to the ancestral property. And they said it will have a retrospective effect. Retrospective in the effect in the sense backdated or past effect in regards to the Hindu Succession Act 2015. And what it says is, as per the Hindu Succession Act 1956 of Section 6. Section 6, it talks about or it confers the status of co-parsoner. This is very important for the prelims point of view. So it has made it very clear that the term co-parsoner to a daughter born before or after the amendment in the same manner as soon. So amendment that is in regards to the 2015. So the date is 2015. So until even the father if he is not alive before or after 2015 is dead after 2015. So this is definitely a part of it. Now what is it? It is co-parsoner. What do you mean by co-parsoner? Co-parsoner is a person who has a birthright to a parental property. So it is co-parsoner means birthright to parental property. Birthright to parental property. So this is mentioned where? It is mentioned in section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act 1956. Please do understand, this is important for prelims point of view, that the term co-parsoner is defined or it is mentioned in which among the following section of the Hindu Succession Act 1956. So the section is section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act 1956 confers the status of co-parsoner to a daughter born before or after the amendment in the same manner as soon. So that is amendment is in the year 2015. So the word is or the keyword is here what to be looked at is co-parsoner. That means a person who has a birthright to the parental property. Or you can just have the which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the term called as co-parsoner. It could be a question. Which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the term called co-parsoner? So there could be a different types of questions in the prelims. And the right to co-parson of a daughter by birth is not necessary that the father should be alive. So definitely it's not necessary that the right to co-parson, that is the daughters will have the birthright or daughters will have the birthright to the property right or parental property if the father is not alive or is dead as on September 9, 2005 also. It is not what you say no need, not necessary that the father should be alive as on September 9, 2005. And the court has thus overruled an earlier 2015 decision. So it has amended, as I said, the court has amended the Hindu Succession Act 2015. That wherein in 2015 it says that the father should be alive as on September 9, 2005. But it has amended or overruled what? That it is not necessary that the father should be alive as on September 9, 2005. So the dates here is 2005, you need to keep a track of it, 2015 and then 2020 now, and prior to this 1956. So that is the Hindu Succession Act 1956 and Hindu Succession Act 2015. And then father should be alive before or as on September 9, 2005 is been overruled by the government or by the Supreme Court in the verdict of August 11th, 2020. So as per this section 6, that an unregistered oral partition without any public document cannot be accepted. Please do understand. So this is also you need to take a look at it. That section 6 of Hindu Succession Act 1956 states that if there is no unregistered oral partition without any public document, so it cannot be accepted. But it can be accepted in exceptional cases when there is a plea for oral partition. It may be accepted when there is a plea for oral partition, and that too it is been by decree of a court, that is by rule of the court. When it is there, then it can be accepted. So section 6 is very important. Please do understand. It very clearly states about when it cannot be accepted. What is cannot be? That is in regards to the right to property or unregistered oral partition. unregistered oral. We are talking about oral partition. So when it cannot and when it can. When it cannot and when it can. It is very clearly mentioned. So 1956 Hindu Succession Act, Section 6 of Hindu Succession Act, 1956, 2015, and now 2020, the Supreme Court verdict. And before I get into the next topic, a very good morning to Ram Kumar and then Jasingi Hanu. Very good morning to you and welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And there is another news which talks about Putin declares world's first COVID-19 shot or vaccine. So, Russia has made a statement that it has come up with the world's first COVID-19 vaccine. COVID-19 vaccine. So Russia has stated that it is the first country in the world to come up with the vaccine, and Vladimir Putin, that is the president of Russia, has approved the COVID-19 vaccine after less than 2 months of human testing. So here, what is very important, what we need to focus is, that is you all as a civil servant aspirant, is just less than 2 months of human testing. So human testing, and then just less than 2 months before, 2 months after the human testing, the approval for the vaccine has been granted by the Russia or the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and it is being developed by, again this is important for prelims point of view, Gamaleya Institute of Russia. Gamaleya Institute of Russia, it has been developed, and they say that it will be administered in 2 doses. That means 2 times, 2 doses. And these 2 doses consists of what? It consists of 2 serotypes. What do you mean by sero? That is blood. Serotypes. That is of serotypes of what? Human adenovirus. Human adenovirus. The vaccine will be administered in 2 serotypes, and it consists of what? Human adenovirus. This is again important. The vaccine in 2 doses, 2 serotypes, that is it consists of human adenovirus. Each dose, it has S antigen. And this S antigen, each carrying an S antigen of the new coronavirus, and this antigen will enter into the human cells. And what will happen is, once this antigen enters into the human cells, it produces immune system or immune strengthening. So it is been by the Gamaleya Institute, it has been developed. It will be administered in 2 doses, and it consists of 2 serotypes. 2 types, sero in the sense blood, of a serotypes of what? Human adenovirus. It consists of 2 serotypes of human adenovirus, and each human adenovirus will consist or will carry S antigen, and it will carry this S antigen of the SARS-CoV-2 or new coronavirus, and it will enter into the human cells, and once it enters into the human cell, it will produce a human immune system. That is how it will act positive. That is how it will be as a vaccine to the SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 disease. And this vaccine is being named as Sputnik V. This is again very important for prelims point of view. The name of the vaccine is Sputnik V. Why Sputnik? Because Sputnik is the world's first satellite which was launched by Soviet Union. That is what Sputnik vaccine, V vaccine. Right? But what is very important is that it has not yet completed the final trials. That is phase 3. phase 3, because you have phase 1, 2, 3, 4 trials, different phases or 5 phases or 4 or 5 phases, and it hasn't completed, not yet completed the final trials, that is the phase 3 trial. So this is important for prelims point of view. Gamaleya Institute, 2 doses it will be administered, and it will consist of 2 serotypes of human adenovirus, each consisting of S antigen of the new coronavirus, and once it enters into the human cell, it will produce the immune system. And the name of the virus is Sputnik V, because they have named it because as a homage to the world's first satellite is Sputnik, which has been launched in Soviet Union. So the question can be again in regards to the SNT on the Sputnik or the satellites, name of the satellites, first, second, third. So you need to focus on that also. So Moscow has gone ahead with granting approval, but it has been raised concerns. So there are concerns by experts across the world that how Russia has granted approval for the administering of the vaccine, that is Sputnik V, and but Mr. Putin says that it is completely safe. When the experts are raising concerns, Mr. Putin, that is the president of Russia, is saying that it is completely safe, and he also makes a statement that one of his daughter has been administered by the Sputnik V, that is vaccine, and she felt good afterwards. So definitely is saying it in a very factual way that it is completely safe. But even though many of the experts are raising the concern in regards to the granting of approval of the Sputnik V to be administered, and the Russian sovereign wealth fund head Kirill Dmitriev have made it very clear that it is expected this vaccine is expected to be produced in Brazil, and they are expected to start soon the clinical trials. So productions they are expecting in Brazil very soon, and the clinical trials they are expecting very soon in UAE and Philippines. UAE and Philippines. But what is important is the approval by the health ministry has come before completing a larger trial, that is the phase 3 trial. So phase 3 trial is still pending, and it is still pending, but still the vaccine is being administered, and it is the Russia Vladimir Putin has come up saying that it is the world's first COVID-19 vaccine. So here, for prelims point of view, you have got an what is the important factual points. And there is another news which talks about the debt revamp to prolong banks' asset quality uncertainty. So you have the Fitch rating agency. Fitch is a rating agency. So it is an agency which rating. It does rating, and you have Fitch here the news. And in regards to other, you have S&P or Moody's. There are also other rating agency, and the rating agency which we have in news is in regards to the Fitch rating agency. And they're talking about the debt revamp to prolong banks' asset quality. So definitely asset quality uncertainty. So here the keyword is asset quality uncertainty. So when we are talking about the asset quality uncertainty, that is the assets which are in proportionate to the credit, what the loans have been taken up by the corporates or the businessmen. So asset quality will be uncertainty. Why the Fitch rating is talking about the asset quality uncertainty? Because just couple of days back I was talking about the RBI has come up with a concept called as restructuring of loan. I have said this, restructuring loans. So when the RBI has said that they have come up with the restructuring loans, and I also made it very clear that RBI has said about restructuring of loans, and this restructuring of the loans are left to banks, to the nationalized banks. So the nationalized banks can take the decision in regards to the restructuring of the loans, and this restructuring of the loans we have looked at that it will be applicable to larger corporates, MSME, and then entrepreneurs. I said this. And then in regards to individuals, also I have said this is in regards to the individual borrowers. Individuals borrowers. So definitely it is in regards to the large corporates, MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises, entrepreneurs and individual borrowers. The RBI has come up with a new concept, that is restructuring of loans. That is the concept which is existing, but it has come up at the time of the COVID-19 or else post COVID-19, at the duration or the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. They have come up saying that restructuring of the loans will take place. I have said again why the restructuring of the loans. I have also made this point because at this situation they are unable to repay the loans. So if they are unable to repay the loans, the large corporate, micro, small and medium enterprise entrepreneurs, they will all be or they will fall into defaulters or the non-performing assets. So to make sure that these large corporates, micro, small and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs and also individual borrowers not to become defaulters and non-performing assets, to make sure that they are not falling into it and they are protected it, that is why the restructuring of the loans the RBI has announced. So this is all the background I am giving, and now I get into the topic. Why Fitch Rating is talking about the restructuring of the loans and how this restructuring of the loans will affect the asset quality. Please do understand. So link it with restructuring loans with the asset quality uncertainty. This is how you need to focus, and this is what is necessary. This is what is imperative, important, that we need to link the restructuring loans keyword with the asset quality uncertainty. Please do understand. Link the restructuring keyword with the asset quality uncertainty, which has been mentioned by Fitch Rating. And as I said, the central bank have gone ahead with restructuring of corporate and personal loans. That is what I have explained. And the policy could, and now this policy, what policy? The restructuring loans policy. Restructuring loan policy could open. There is a possibility, could open a window for banks to build capital buffers. So now the banks have to build capital. Capital means in the sense liquidity, money, buffers. So now it has to come up with the buffers. It has to build the buffers in regards to what? Capital, liquidity. Why? While putting off full recognition of the coronavirus pandemic impact on loan portfolios. So what is that? That is in regards to the restructuring loan policy will definitely create an or open a window for the banks to build capital. That means they have to infuse more of capital. Why? Because the probability of the MSMEs, large corporates and then entrepreneurs or individuals may not be able to repay it because of the allowing central bank allowing the restructuring of loans for certain period of time. This is very important. But it is reminiscent. What do you mean by reminiscent? Suggesting something by resemblance. So what we are talking about is the restructuring loan policy. So this restructuring loan policy has been now why the RBI taken the decision in the year 2020. Why? So this has also been adopted. This strategy has also been adopted in the past from 2010 to 2016. This is very important, and that has delayed, and that means the strategy which has been adopted not only now but it was adopted during the period of 2010 to 2016, and because of the strategy which has been adopted, that is in regards to the restructuring loan policy, that has delayed and exacerbated. That means it has aggravated or intensified what? The problems for banks. Please do understand. This is very important what the Fitch rating is mentioning. That means because of the restructuring policy, what might happen is it might create problems for the banks. Please do understand. Why? Because of asset quality uncertainty. Why? Because the banks should build the capital buffers. That is what I said. Because the banks should build capital buffers. For that, the asset quality uncertainty will happen, and because of that, there would be a problem. There could be a problem for the banks. Why? Because of the restructuring loan policy. This is very important. That is why I said link the concepts or the keyword of the restructuring loan policy with the asset quality uncertainty. This is very important conceptual point of view, economy, prelims point of view. Economy, prelims point of view. Please to understand the way I am emphasizing on the keywords. And Indian banks are saddled with more than 120 billion. And because of this kind of restructuring of loans in the past, that is from the during the time period of 2010 to 2016, we have seen 120 billion US dollars in bad loans, and that is what it is saying. Problems to the banks is what? Bad loans. Problems to the banks is what? Bad loans, and that has been almost close to 120 billion US dollars, and that is what is making that bad loans is making India stand as the third worst country among 13 major world economies. This is very important for prelims, and also you can mention in as a short notes in your mains answer. In your mains answer in regards to the concept of restructuring loans, when there is a question in regards to the RBI measures taken by RBI in regards to the restructuring the loans, you can mention because of that there has been an experience of problems to the banks because of the asset quality uncertainty because of the restructuring loan policy. Also in the year 2010 to 2016 time period, and because of that bad loans have increased to 120 billion US dollars, and because of that the data shows that India stands the third worst asset quality, third worst in asset quality in the entire or among the 13 more major world economies in the world. Among the 13 major world economies, India stands third. India stands third in asset quality. That is the assets you have, which is in comparison with the credit, what they have to pay. And the restructuring, when we look at this concept of restructuring, the concept of restructuring is what was used for evergreening of loans. So this is the keyword here again, evergreening of loans. So what do you mean by evergreening of loans? So this is what? A practice in which banks provide additional loans. So here what is the evergreening of loans means? It is providing additional loans. Evergreening of loans is nothing but providing additional loans. For whom? For the stressed borrowers, the one who have been borrowed but they are unable to repay. They are unable to repay the loans. Wherein they would be if they are not taken care, they would be as a defaulters or the non-performing assets. There would be defaulters or non-performing assets. To overcome that, they have gone to the practice of restructuring that is used for the evergreening of loans, And this evergreening of loans is what the banks are providing additional loans. So when the banks are providing additional loans for what? Because the amount which they are unable to repay. So first they will repay the existing loans. So they will repay the existing loans. So to repay the existing loans, the banks are come up with the or the RBI have come up with the restructuring loan policy. I think you have understood at length why I have taken so much of pain. Again, I am mentioning here restructuring of loans and asset quality uncertainty. These two you please link it. These two keywords you have to link it. Please do link it. Only then you will understand the concept why the RBI has come up with the restructuring of loans, why the finance ministry is focusing on that, and that is being uh, mentioned by the fixed ratings. And then before I get into the topic, next one, Anand Babu has joined. Very good morning to you and warm welcome to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan. And he says, sir, thank you for the analysis. Okay, definitely. It's my pleasure. And AKSIS Academy will definitely be in the constant mode of educating and providing more of information, knowledge, and analysis to the civil servant aspirants like you all. Definitely, we are into that. That is AKSIS Academy. And then there is a question. There is a question for the mains, which is that in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, that is in between, like what we are facing now, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the training training educators to deliver mental health care. So training educators linking it with mental health care. Training educators or educators with mental health care. So what is the statement talking about is that there has to be a training to the educators. The educators have to train, and so that they have to train in the mental health care, so that it will strengthen the closer interaction between the students and the educational institutions. Please do understand here. The keywords, please do understand here. So, what the statement talks about is, in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, what is the need of the hour? What is the need of the hour? Is that a training has to be provided to the educators in regards to what? In regards to the mental health care. Why? Why training? Why training to the educators in regards to mental health care? So that answer is, so that it will strengthen. What it will strengthen? It will strengthen the closer interaction between the students and the educational institutions. Please do understand. Here we have brought in the training, we have brought in the educators, the keywords, the students, the educational institutions, and mental health care and close interaction. So look at it: training, educators, students, educational institutions, mental health care, and interaction. So these are very important that you need to focus while you read the question for the mains. So definitely you will get in what is the idea how you need to write an answer, start an answer. That is background, introduction, and then what is happening now, challenges, measures. So background, introduction, and then what is happening now, the current scenario, background, introduction, current scenario, fine, and then the challenges and the measures and the way forward. So this is how you need to make sure that these are the subheadings you have while you're writing the answer. Any answer, not only this, the background, introduction, and then the current scenario, challenges, measures, and way forward. So here it is in regards to the COVID-19. Please do look at here. It is, you will be surprised. It is linked with health and education. The question here I have framed is that you have two components here or two sectors. I brought in two sectors here in this question. One is health sector and then the education sector. And both together we are talking about the delivery of mental health care of the students, that is of Young India, young aspiring India. Look at it, how we are trying to link it, compare it, and then bring it as a very a new concept. And that is what is important. When you look at the question or the statement for the mains, it could be general essay or in the various papers. This is how you need to focus. This is how you need to focus. And I suppose definitely you are enjoying the questions what I am daily posing it to you all, but I hope that you are also writing it. I do not know how many of them are really focusing in regards to giving an attempt to write the answer. Please do give an attempt. Otherwise, my efforts will go waste. And then definitely I have to make sure that I have to stop one day giving the questions, because it is only because of the instance from the students that I am giving the or framing the questions for the mains point of view. Is anyone giving an attempt from the live chat? Is anyone giving an attempt of the questions what I am framing it daily? Please do answer, respond to them. And just to recapitulate, definitely we have looked at this. These are the challenges which are very important. Challenges which are very important in regards to the health, science and technology. That is in regards to the health point of view. Point. And then this is again in regards to the health point of view. We were looking at the various keywords which are very important for prelims point of view. Again in regards to this is Supreme Court verdict for polity point of polity, very important for prelims point of view. And again this is international news, which could be international current affairs, and also in regards to the vaccine, that is COVID, health, global health. And then this is again in regards to the economy. So economy we have looked at here conceptual understanding, which are very important for prelims point of view. So I have focused at length from various aspects or sectors, which I hope it is definitely helpful for you. And please do try to give an attempt in regard to writing the answers for the mains, which I'm giving it daily one. And I would say a very big thank you and a good luck. And then before you sign off, before you quit, please do like the video, share the video and subscribe the video. And then do visit the website of AKS IAS Academy and do subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System, which is one of the India's premier institutions. And see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. with the daily news analysis. And again, I would reiterate that be focused, or else, as I say, consistency is important, and then sticking to your schedule is important, and then take care of your physical health and mental health. So definitely, once you are into this strategy, I would say definitely you can crack prelims and mains and also be the one among the top 100 or 50 or top 10 also. I wish you would be. And I would say a very big thank you to all. Thank you all. And then do prepare very well. Ashwini Kumar sir, definitely questions are helpful. Okay, definitely. See, my point is also that you need to get into the mode of both macro and micro level preparation. That is in regards to the prelims as well as mains examination, because it has to go in tandem. Never it has to be in isolation. Preparation should not be in isolation. That is not like prelims separately and mains separately. It has to go parallel. Parallel preparation has to be both mains and prelims. Parallel preparation has to be, that is macro with micro level. Macro with micro strategy has to be your strategy to get acquainted with both prelims and mains simultaneously. Okay, fine. So getting idea how questions can be, yes, that is very important. So and also focus on the previous question papers, and then how the questions can be framed, because without knowing that, when you sit in the mains examination hall, it will be a bounce back. It will definitely be a tough task for you. And thank you, Ashwini Kumar, that you are following my editorials. Thank you very much. And I thank everyone. And I thank everyone. And all the best for you in regards to your preparation. And then Krishnaveni, Krishnaveni, you have joined. I think I have seen you for the first time. I mean, interaction in the live chat. Definitely, warm welcome to you, Krishnaveni. Regards to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis, that is by me, Sandeep Bhushan. So, see you tomorrow again at 7:30 a.m.